Welcome back to Unseen Adventures, and I'm here back with another video. On this one, again, I'm going to talk about my mobility training, how it has come in handy for me. I had an experience in the beginning of the week that was a little. I thought I was gonna be stuck. I thought I was gonna be nervous. I thought I was gonna be having anxiety and things like that. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about navigating while being total. I mean, I'm total blind individual. I can see nothing. So when I walk, um, well, let me give you guys an intro. I've been training with my mobility instructor. I've been, if y'all been following the channel, I've been learning how to navigate. I was pretty good. I learned new techniques. I incorporated new techniques in the way I navigate, the way I use my cane. I've gone to the mall, I've gone to intersections and things like that, 7 street lanes. And, I had a problem. I used to get anxiety. I get all nervous, sweaty palms, you know. And one of these days, I tell you about my first experience about anxiety and how I never had anxiety until I became blind, you know. And I tell you about that experiences in another video. Drop a like if you guys would like to to hear that video. But yeah, so I was put to the test. I was put to the test. I was going to a store. Got on the bus. I was already kind of thinking, why is this bus running late a little? I was already apprehensive about something my gut feelings were telling me something. My spidey sense were tingling. But so I headed on my unseen adventure to my store, picked up my items, and then walking back to the bus stop, I start looking at my app, start looking at the time, and it has an alert on this route. So look, I click on the alert, and it tells me that the bus is not running due to some things. I don't know what was going on, but it was not running. That's the important part, and that's the thing we're sticking to the story. So I'm stuck. I'm like, okay, it's already 5. I'm a mile away from my house. And for my sighted people, I know a mile, when I was sighted, is on. I walk, do this, what I need to do, walk fast at that, you know. But it's a whole other monster while doing it completely blind. Imagine doing it with a blindfold, walking. I had to actually cross some train tracks on a double street. So I had to pay attention, listen, and hear the traffic, listen to the cars and things like that. But I started walking home. The first thing I had to do is cross the street, and there were some train tracks, and these were double train tracks because that's how that part of the place is. So I started crossing the train tracks, and I have to go extra slow here because I am looking for every gap for every track. There's like 2 gaps for the rails, you know. So you gotta be careful and be poking. Plus, you have to be looking to the side because honestly, there's a dip. There's a dip when on the pathways right there when you're walking across. So you gotta be really careful. Really careful. You have to take your time. You can't be speeding it. You can't be walking fast thinking that, oh, let me just do it. No, you might twist your ankle and then you're really gonna be in a bad situation. Cars are to my left, literally almost not really next to me. You could say like 2, 3, well, let's say 4 to 5 feet away from me. I just don't like cars that are driving being that close to me because sometimes, drivers don't look, and I had an experience when they told me, Oh, you need to be more careful when you walk. No, I know I'm walking. I'm using all my skills. I'm walking correctly. Drivers need to watch out and look out. And I had another experience before when a car ran over my cane, but I will talk about that in another video. I was stressed out. You got to remember, my cane is my eyes. So I was stressed out. I'll bring you that one too. Drop a comment if you would like to hear that story. But so I made my way. I crossed the street. Once I got to the end of the tracks, I crossed the other street. Now I'm walking in a neighborhood. So this neighborhood, the sidewalks are really close to the streets. The poles are like in the middle. I don't know. I don't know exactly. You're thinking what I'm thinking. But I'm navigating, taking my time. I don't want to bump into no pole. I don't want to have nothing in my face, like a bump, anything. I don't want to have an accident and stuff like that. But I'm walking, and remember, this is a small neighborhood. I have to cross through other little streets, and those things that, over here in Los Angeles, we got these little yellow things in the corner. I call them bump dots, but they're not bump dots. They're actually for the wheelchair. So when the wheelchair wants to slow down and use its brakes, it won't slide. It grips. That's why those yellow things are on our corner. You could catch them all over the city. You could catch them in the city of Whittier. You could catch them in the city of Southgate, Los Angeles. They're all over the county, depending where you at. But I call them bump dots because that lets me know I'm at a corner too. Before, sometimes, it dips a little. You think it's a driveway, but it might be the corner. And you're like, oh, whoa, 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 let me slow down. So I'm on my way, crossing the streets. Now I'll get to a main street, right? So I have to make a left and follow that to the main crosswalk where the lights at. So I'm walking, making my way, listening. I'm pretty good when it comes to listening to the sounds and hearing objects around me. I'm pretty good at that, and I could hear walls, or sometimes I could even hear poles or tables. I have to be really listening, and sometimes when it's a lot of sound, I can't. It's hard for me to listen and hear that. And sometimes I rely on that. But when you get to a main street, you got cars going and going and going. And it's hard to listen for objects right in front of you. But like my instructor said, and this is good advice, you can't just rely on one technique. You need to use all of them and get acquainted with all of them. And that's good advice from her. And if you're watching, thank you. But let's get back to the video. But I got to this intersection. So this intersection just not cross straight ahead and just walk straight ahead. This intersection actually curves. And for my visually impaired people, sometimes, especially when you're blind, when it curves, you got to really pay attention. You could veer off. And that was my problem at first. I was veering off to the left or right when I was crossing. So if I was trying to walk straight, something I would veer too much, and I had certain incidents. And getting this mobility training has been one of the best things I could have done. Okay. I was really good at it, but it's good to hone your skills, get new techniques, and incorporate all those techniques into your daily routine. Because certain things I use that they taught me, certain things I don't, it will tire up my wrist. And I ain't trying to get it, carpal tunnel or anything like that. I'm trying to take care of my wrist the best I can. Because that's my eyes. The cane is my eyes. So I'm crossing the street and I'm listening. I'm listening to the cars on my left, listening to the cars on my right, trying to gather myself, and I thought I was going to be really nervous. I thought I was going to have anxiety, but felt a little confident. I got through it. I crossed the street, and that was one of the main obstacles. And then I still had to walk other blocks. I had to cross like 4 or 5 more streets. I took my time. Once I got to the area I'm kind of familiar with, and I could kind of drag and then use a technique it's called dragging your cane, tapping the grass. So I could speed up and walk a little faster. But it might take someone sighted around 50 minutes to walk a mile. It took me almost an hour and a half. But it's because I'm being careful, and sometimes people don't understand being completely blind. You have to, the way you're navigating and all that, sometimes it takes time. I can't just speed walk, I can't just speed walk. But I got to another main street. I crossed over. I was practically at the finish line. And then I crossed again to the other side, and now I'm on the side of where my house is at, the block where my house is at. And I was feeling relieved. I was not like anxiety kicking or anything, but I was relieved because I was like, okay, I feel better. My training came in handy, and oh my God, it was one of the, I was proud of myself. I was proud of myself. I'm not gonna BS around. I was proud of myself. I was proud. So I made it to my house, and I did my thing, and I was grateful that I got my mobility training. So if you ever think about getting mobility training, my advice is do it. It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt. And that's coming from me. And if you like the content, press that like, drop a comment. If you'd like to know some stuff, if you had a question about it, drop a comment. Also, hit the subscribe button, it helps. And for those that like to get notified, hit that notifications bell. Go to options, turn on all notifications so you can get notified every time we drop a new video. And Unseen Adventures, and we're out.